Hey there, welcome to a new episode of Kyusho Korner. I'm Sensei Mish, and in today's episode, I want to talk about gratitude. So let's get to it. I know what you're thinking. This is supposed to be a series about pressure points. And you're right, it is. Today's episode, though, we're not going to cover a pressure point. However, we are going to be talking about something vital, gratitude. It's something that I don't think enough of us have, or enough of us think about, more than just this time of year. So this episode is premiering on Thanksgiving, okay? It's not being shot on Thanksgiving because my family would kill me for that. But the reason I wanted to do this on gratitude is because Thanksgiving for me is one of my favorite holidays. I don't do a lot of decorating because it's more about the feeling and the experience. But for me, I'm grateful for a lot of things, more so a lot of people. When I say things, I don't really mean like tangible things, but I'm grateful for the people that are in my life, and I don't think I let them know that enough. And if you, as the viewer, don't think you give thanks or tell people that you're grateful for in your life, that you're grateful, you need to do that. We have a limited time on this planet. We try and do our best to do whatever, but it's one of the reasons that this kind of sparked everything, the gratefulness, is because of this. At Artists and Martial Arts, that's my full-time school, we partner with Kids Love Life Skills. And so one of the life skills that we talk about is gratitude. And you can see that gratitude is to be thankful. And like I said, it's all about the people that we are grateful for. Let you in a little bit. I had a really bad week last week, like really bad. Very stressed. Like I didn't think the world was coming to an end. I knew it was going to get better, but it was just, for me, it was a very, very hard week. The way I got through that week was basically thinking of who I'm grateful for. What am I grateful for in life? And it really came down to the people, okay? I'm grateful that I can live out my dream of being a martial arts instructor. I've got my school, I do this. I don't even think of like I'm going to work, like I'm going to the school. Like this is my happy place. I wanna basically go over my list of who I'm grateful for. Now the first person, and I go there all the time, my wife. My wife, Lisa, she and I have been together for, I think, 28 years now. She is an amazing woman, she's given me 3 wonderful children and really allowing me to take the risk of doing this, okay? I am more grateful for her than probably anybody else, because if it wasn't for her support, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. And I let her know that all the time. She probably gets tired of it, but she is the one person I'm constantly reminding that I love her, and if she's just an amazing person. My kids, love my kids. I'm glad that they're, I love watching them grow up and they're becoming these wonderful human beings. And, the way that they're giving back, the way that they just their concept of being grateful and being good humans. My students, all of my students, past and present, whether they're in here in the dojo or we're learning online, or I even consider those people who learn off of these episodes as my students. Now, I don't know everybody by name, but I do know that people have reached out to me and thanked me for this show and been like, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for these episodes, I would not have passed my Kyusho test, or I would not have been able to find a new purpose in my martial arts. That's humbling to me. Like, I'm just some goofball in the Pacific Northwest. Like, for a long time, I just thought I was nobody. But I'm constantly reminded of by people around me that no, I am not a nobody. And I kind of still think, and not a negative nobody, it's just that I don't consider myself an influencer, but there's a lot of people around me that consider me an influencer. So I made a list. You can, holding a piece of paper, I've got 2 sides to it. So the names on this list are in no particular order of importance or rank or anything like that. My brain first started alphabetical, and then it just was like, oh, and then there's this person and this person and this person. So first person on the list is Dan Anderson. I've known Dan for 20 years. If it wasn't for Dan, I wouldn't be writing books. He's the one that pushed me to write a book. Brandon Beliso, he is my martial arts business mentor. He too is a martial artist, but he also is a wonderful person. And it's through the tools that he's given me, the encouragement that he's given me, the confidence that I've had to open the school. It wouldn't have been if it wasn't for him. I've been teaching out of a garage for 20 years, and always with like, do I want to take the next step? Do I want to take the next step? And it was always that fear of taking the next step, of basically, ruining my entire life by opening a business and having the business fail. So for the last 20 years, I've been wanting to do this right. And it was really with his encouragement, with the information that he's given me, with his friendship, that I was able to take that next step. Bram Frank, for those of you who don't know, I am essentially the successor or the inheritor to the modular system, Bram Frank's modular system, and all that is CSSD, Bolo, Arnis, Crimp, all that kind of stuff. So Bram, I'm humbled that he wants me to pass it on. I'm honored to pass it on, honored to take it over when he retires or passes. Bram is family. Jim Korn, he lives in Indiana. He's Jim Korn, 10th degree Kyusho, Ruku Kempo, holds these camps. I met him through Kyusho Korner, wanted to do an interview with him, and he's like, oh yeah, just come out to this camp and we'll, you can do the interview and I'll let you teach. And we've had this great friendship ever since. What an amazing person. And we're doing a book together. So I like that. Mark Klein. Mark connected with Jim. But even before I even met Jim, I've known Klein for over a decade. Met him back in '93, but he and I have really been connected since I think 2011, something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, he's an amazing guy, a little bit weird, but aren't we all? But friend, martial arts mentor, family. Jason Smith, James Walker, Monique Washington, and Marco Mazzula. These 4 individuals are connected through Brandon Beliso. They are kind of my support system when it comes to martial arts business. Brandon is, but these are kind of like the subs where stuff that I don't think I could say to Brandon, I can say to them. I've reached out to them each for whatever, and they've been a great support system. I don't reach out to them as much as I should, just to say. Asa and I met a couple years ago at Jim's Indiana camp. And this last September, we got to we hung out in the same house together. Spent a lot of time getting to know each other through that experience, and I don't know why Asa and I had not become friends earlier. Asa is just an amazing person. He's an amazing martial artist, and he's just got so much to give. And you would never guess that he is the person that he is by the way he presents. He's just a kind, wonderful person. Mike Mather, another one of those guys that you're just like, oh, he must be this, tough badass, which he is, but he is at the same time, such a kind person. All of these people are good human beings. Rory Miller. Rory, he's an author, ex-corrections guy. If you have not read Facing Violence or Meditations on Violence, that was his first book, or really anything by Rory, you are missing out on some good martial arts material. Our friendship kind of started off as that, hey, I'm going to stalk you without getting a restraining order, and now we're actually pretty good friends. I love Rory. His wife Cami is an amazing person as well. Carl Kanthak. I met Carl at a Dan Anderson seminar. I don't know how many years ago, and he and I have been friends ever since. For a long time, we live in the same city, okay? He has a school 2 miles down the road from me. For a long time, it was one of those, hey, we live in the same city, but we don't get together. And so we made it a point that, hey, we're gonna start getting together on a regular basis. And I value his friendship so much. He's a super intelligent guy. I would say he's probably smarter than me. Just a great martial artist, great human being. Carl, he's a good friend. Harvey Hondon, another martial artist that I got to know. He's he lives not in the same city. He lives 3 hours away from me, but one of those people for a long time we're like, oh yeah, shoot, we're on the same coast. We're only 3 hours away. We should get together more often. And we just never do. And so a while back we made it a point. We are going to get together more often because we value our friendship that much. And Harvey's just an amazing person. There's more people that I could probably point out, but for those people who are with their soulmate or are with that one person who is just like, I don't know what my life would be without that person. And we usually say that about our spouses. When it comes to my wife, Lisa, I don't know where I would be if I hadn't met her. But I can also say the same thing for everybody that I've listed. I don't know where I would be in my life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, if I had not met these people. Would this show exist? Would my books exist? Rob Ray, he's another good, he and I met through martial arts. In fact, he met through I was doing a podcast at the time, like an interview podcast. He and I met through that. I actually ended up interviewing him, and come to find out, he's just like me. Martial artist, a geek. He's the one that pushed me to finish this book. Dan, like I said, he was the one who pushed me to start writing martial arts books. So if it wasn't for them, I don't know. My Ukis for the show, you've seen him. I got Thomas Lee. He's one of my longtime students. My kids, I know I already mentioned my kids, but specifically Ashton and Winston, they have been in my episodes and they let me beat on them. Uriel Villa, he had a school out in Hillsborough for a long time. I used to go out there and shoot episodes out there. Kathy Fleming, older gal, wonderful person, let me beat up on her for the episodes. So yeah, just all of these people, just amazing. My mates from work. Now I don't go to a 40-hour gig anymore, but these people, we are family. We are friends till the end. These guys, I worked security with these guys for almost 15 years. They always had my back. I always had their back. And, but I got to call out, Bates, Corey, Jim, Derek, Ian, Mark. Some of them don't work where I used to work. Some of them have moved on into other areas. One is actually living in Arizona. But these individuals, these men, and I'm even going to go throw Shandy in there and Miguel. But these people, just amazing people, and we're brothers for life. No doubt, brothers and family for life. I've mentioned this book. This book came out significantly on November 18th, which was Dan Anderson's 70th birthday. I chose that day because it was his birthday and because that was part of his influence. He influenced me to write books, and so I started a pre-order. The response from this book has been absolutely amazing. In the time it was up for pre-sale, 62 people, or not 62 people, but 62 books were ordered. I always shared the numbers with Dan, and Dan was like, he says, I'm so excited for you, but I am jealous of you at the same time, because he's never gotten that many pre-orders from a book. Now, generally in the past, I've only done like a 2-week pre-order. This one was like 4 or 5 weeks, probably because of the size, but also some of these people bought 10 books or more because they wanted, like one person actually used the words, "We want to use your book as our primary Kyusho textbook in our schools." Really? Like, I'm humbled by that. Like, I never considered myself that much of an influencer, that much of it blows me away by that response, by other responses that people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, thank you for the show. Thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't for the show." But I do want to call out the people that pre-ordered, okay? First names only, and first names, and we'll go through this quick. So Kenneth from Florida, Jules from New Jersey, Michael from Georgia, Bjorn from Norway, Karsten from Denmark, Guy from North Carolina, Glenn from Norway, Robert from Idaho, Craig from Australia, Gene from New Hampshire, Brian from Texas, Roman from Czech Republic, Thomas from Denmark, Gordon from New Jersey, JJ from the Netherlands, Vincent from New Jersey, Rob from Florida, Carlos from Florida, Tom from South Carolina, Craig from Australia, George from Kentucky, James from Illinois, Adrian from Slovakia, Clay from Georgia, Jolene from Indiana, Bob from Australia, and Peter from Virginia. Notice some of those weren't even from the United States. I have books going to Australia, Slovakia, the Netherlands, Denmark, Czech Republic, Norway, as well as the faraway land of New Jersey. Like, holy cow! I never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought I would be an international author. Ever. Ever, ever. I'm blown away, absolutely blown away by the response to this book. So, I'm going to come to an end. Instead of my normal sign off of take this back to your dojo, play, have fun, and be good to your uke, which is always important, I want you to go back to your home. I want you to go back to your dojo. I want you, maybe even put it in the comments. I want you to let those people know in your life how much they mean to you, how grateful you are for them being in your life, and maybe what they've given you. Maybe it's been just friendship. Maybe it's been support. Maybe it's been whatever. Okay? So I value all of you, whatever your name is. If you have, and I know there's a whole list of other people that I could have gone, but the video would be so much longer. So for those of you who have supported me, currently support me, I appreciate you. I am grateful for you. And I'm not just saying that. I am truly, truly grateful for everybody that have touched me, that I have been able to touch. So I could babble on forever. So go back to your home, dojo, wherever. Tell that person that you're grateful. Be good to your uke. See you on the next episode. Thank you for hanging out until the end. You are either asleep or you really like this episode. So if you are still awake and have not liked, shared, subscribed, any of that social media stuff, please do so now. We have got a great season ahead of us. So hit the notification bell and it'll let you know when a new episode airs.